Hello! Right, today is my Tamiya F103GT on the bench with its twin sister mini four-wheel drive. So here you go. This is a really cool car that I've built some times ago, and I'm thinking about making the kits available on the web store to change the F103GT to this. So I don't know if anybody has any interest in that. So let's see what the project is. So originally I had the F103GT, which is a super nice pan car to drive. It's really good handling, it's quick. I was running it with a 13.5. I'm not sure which one I have in this one now. And then I had so many other pan cars that I was like, alright, let's do something different. And I thought about doing a really vintage, like 50s F1 car, and because nobody's making those, and I think they're really cool looking, and I wanted to see what would it be like to drive on, you know, those super narrow wheels. So the body is the same body as the one I showed yesterday that I'm using for my freewheel, Morgan freewheel. That's the RJ Speeds Sprinter. And all I've done to it is just make a little square Lexan piece for the windshield, and I 3D printed those exhaust pipe and that little old dude with no helmet that's not scared of being decapitated. And that's all, really. The body is as it is from the Sprinter. Didn't use any of the stickers they have, didn't put the stacks coming up in the front, and I just printed at home like some little Ferrari stickers, and I think it looks quite convincing, and it's, you know, that's an easy thing to build. And then onto the chassis. So the F103GT originally comes with a battery that is perpendicular to the chassis and not in line, and so I had to come up with a way of putting the battery in line with the chassis so it would be narrow enough to fit that body. And so what I did is I 3D printed two pieces here, and you see they are raised a little bit, about 5 mm raised, so I can still fix the rear T-plates to it, and it is tall enough so the battery can be fitted there. I'm using a LiPo. You might have space for the full length, I'm not sure, but I'm using a shorty LiPo in it, and so this way the battery is in line. And I've redesigned a new top plate for it, and there is a plate at the back to mount the friction dampers here. And then the other thing that had to be done, of course, because you see I have those 3D printed kind of dish wheels, even though they have grooves, so they would look like wired wheels. And so I found out the F1 front wheel, the buggy front wheel of the two-wheel drive, the super gripper from Tamiya, really looked the parts to look like an old racing wheel, and so I have those, but putting those on the chassis makes the car like 1.5 cm from the ground. It's ridiculously high, so I had to come up with a way to lower the car. So I have some spacers that I put here, and then I have a spacer that I put under the front end, and so once the car is on the floor I have, I don't know, 4 or 5 mm ground clearance, like really good ground clearance. And then the geometry of the chassis is completely unchanged. I have a little diffuser that I've made for the back that's just attached to the pod. That's, I think it's it's got to be an old free racing aluminum pods that I have on there. And the motor is, no, this is a 17.5, and I just noticed that I've lost the sensor cable, but it's a sensored system with a 60 amp ESC, and I am running gyro on it, which helps really a lot, because the car is doing well. It's quick, it handles pretty well, but just the nature of those tiny wheels, it oversteers quite a lot, which I think it's cool, because looking at the old 50s car, it looked like they were drifting every time they turned, and that it was more about managing the drift than doing a clean curve. And so it's got that, but it's manageable with the gyro, and without the gyro is just, I'm driving on the track with many other drivers, so I don't want to tailspin all the time. The gyro is it's not too intrusive the way I set it up. And so yeah, that's pretty simple. So I don't know what you guys think. If anybody would be interested that I make this kit available, the RJ Speed Buddy is super easy to find on eBay or Main Hobby, this kind of store. So you guys let me know, and I think that's about it for this car. It's pretty straightforward. The body is mounted, on the sides here, and then the original front, no bumper, of course. And yeah, I think it really looks the part. You get the mechanical things at the back that are hanging out, and I think it's pretty scale. So here you go. This is my old vintage 1950s Ferrari F1 conversion made from an F103GT. Be safe. Bye bye.